Hello everyone, Dr. Suneel Dhand, internal medicine physician. Welcome to another video. Well, we've had a lot of moving parts over the last couple of weeks. Things have been moving very fast indeed as President-elect Trump puts forward his nominees for a variety of different important areas that will shape the future of the United States. Obviously, my main area of interest is health and well-being, and I've been watching very closely. And I was very excited by some of President-elect Trump's picks, including RFK Jr. I think RFK Jr. is best placed to really shake things up in the world of health and medicine. Of course, he's going to face a lot of pushback from entrenched special interests. And as I've said before, I don't agree with everything that RFK has said before. Of course, two human beings rarely agree on absolutely everything when it comes to big policies, but I do think he is the man who is best placed to really shake things up, and boy, does health need a big shake-up. I'm also very encouraged by some of President-elect Trump's other picks, including Dr. Marty Makary, who I've been following for some time, and I think he is an excellent choice to lead the FDA. That news was announced at the end of last week as well. He is far from being beholden to groupthink. He's a critical thinker, and he speaks up on important issues. But one pick that I'm less than enthusiastic about and was really taken by surprise was on Friday when President-elect Trump announced that Dr. Janet Nesheiwat would be the next US Surgeon General. At least she is his recommendation. And I must say that I've seen Dr. Janet Nesheiwat occasionally over the years on Fox News. She has a spot on Fox News. And I've seen her during the pandemic, and she seemed to very much be in the camp of the more extreme measures, including mandates. So I was very surprised because this pick seemed incongruent with President-elect Trump's other picks with regards to shaking things up in the field of health and medicine. I really wanted Dr. Joseph Ladapo to be picked as a US Surgeon General. I've been following him as well for a long time. He is a man of great common sense. He's an excellent doctor. He's in shape. He works out a lot. He's always posting about healthy eating and moving more. And Governor DeSantis also recommended him to be US Surgeon General. So I was surprised because given the fact that Florida is President Trump's home state, I was surprised that that recommendation didn't hold sway. I really think Dr. Joseph Ladapo would have been superb in the position. Nevertheless, I always believe in giving people a chance. Perhaps Dr. Janet Nesheiwat has changed a lot of her views, and I want to share with you some of her views that she's publicly aired before, so that you can judge for yourself what she said before, and whether this is truly congruent with the direction that President Trump was otherwise taking to really shake things up and disrupt a field which really needs disrupting. So here she is on the subject of masking children.
COVID, this new Delta variant hits right before school starts, and our top priority should be getting kids back into the classroom, but doing so safely. Here's the problem. Delta is different, and that's why the American Academy of Pediatrics is recommending that if you're going to be in a classroom, in a crowded classroom, then you want to protect yourself, wear a mask. Because a lot of kids, for example, under the age of 12, they can't be vaccinated. So it's important to point out, though, masking is not the only solution. We also need to make sure that we have good ventilation, that people are washing their hands, that they're getting tested, and that all the teachers are getting vaccinated as well. But what's happening is this new Delta variant, it replicates more easily and it's more contagious. You can have up to 1,000 times more viral particles, so kids can pick it up even though they may not have severe symptoms.
Now, the US, of course, was a complete outlier when it came to the subject of masking children. This is a very controversial area, and science and medical research studies don't really back it up. And here she is on the subject of shots and also boosters.
It's so disheartening to see our athletes or anyone, for that matter, test positive. And this is because of the Delta variant. It's a lot more virulent, it's a lot more contagious, and it has made our vaccines slightly weaker. Now, our vaccines still work. They're good enough to keep you off of a ventilator and keep you from passing away from this virus, but they're not 100%. And because it's so contagious and more virulent, you carry 1,000 times the viral load of previous strains. And that's why we're seeing these further breakthrough infections. That's why it's still so important. If you haven't yet gotten your vaccine, it's not too late. Go out and get it. Protect yourself. Wear your mask if you're not vaccinated, because we are seeing a spread not just among the unvaccinated, but also among the vaccinated.
Well, I'm not sure I agree with that. And what did she think about the subject of Mr. Fauci himself, the science? Let's listen in.
Yesterday, that network, they twisted his words. He didn't absolutely say, yes, we should have done this. He said, coulda, shoulda, woulda. Of course, in any situation, if you start from negative day, a negative timing back in November, it would have been a better outcome. He was generalizing his statement, but they twisted his words. I think what he's doing is doing everything in his power to protect Americans. That's what we need.
Dear, oh dear, definitely don't agree with that. I was skeptical about Mr. Fauci right from the very start. And how about the subject of censorship? Social media platforms censoring people, censoring anybody who asks questions or raises legitimate concerns. What does she think about that?
Vaccines save lives, and I am so excited, and I thank and I commend Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg for taking action, because this affects everyone. This affects our children. It affects adults.
So I'm sure you can see why I have some concerns.
Hey guys, you'll be happy to know that the CDC has updated its guidelines. If you've been exposed to someone who tested positive for coronavirus and you are symptom-free after 10 days, then you are cleared to go back to work. If you are symptom-free for 7 days with a negative COVID test, then you're also free to go back to work. But the baseline remains that you should still monitor your symptoms, wear your mask, and practice social distancing.
And I want to share with you an article as well that was written by Dr. Nesheiwat that was published on the Fox News website. Take a look at this, the pandemic, the shots, and the future. This is our path out of the pandemic. So here we go. We have many shots in existence that treat a variety of non-life-threatening diseases, but to have this particular one by Pfizer or Moderna, mRNA, that will actually save you from dying, is a gift from God. This is our path out of the pandemic. Well, I'll leave it at that. And to be fair to Dr. Nesheiwat, maybe she's changed her views. Maybe she wouldn't write that again. Maybe she's learned more over time. But I'm sure those of you who watch me regularly know my views on the pandemic response, which was utterly disastrous. You will understand why I have some concerns. And perhaps something to also be alarmed about is what sort of people are supporting this nomination being put forward. Look no further than Dr. Peter Hotez, who seemed thrilled in a social media post that Dr. Nesheiwat has been nominated to be US Surgeon General. My goodness me, Peter Hotez, second only to Mr. Fauci in terms of the strong feelings that I have towards the people who led our pandemic response. I won't use any more colorful language. The position of US Surgeon General is quite important. And those people who have come before over the last few years have utterly failed, in my opinion. The current Surgeon General, Dr. Vivek Murthy, well, he's quite bizarre in the issues that he chooses to care about. He has focused extensively during his time over the last few years on the subject of loneliness, which may be an issue. I mean, it's not good to be lonely. And recently, he seemed to be going all out on the issue of smoking, despite smoking cigarettes being at its lowest level in decades. And he has barely said a single word. In fact, I don't think he said a single word on the biggest health issue facing the United States, the metabolic health catastrophe. Soaring rates of chronic diseases, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, other inflammatory diseases, people's life expectancy being cut short because of these diseases, absolutely soaring off the charts rates of illnesses in children as well. We have 50% of children now overweight or obese, almost 50% with pre-diabetes. This is an absolute health disaster. And I would like to see a Surgeon General who is big on these particular issues, because it is the #1 issue facing the United States in any arena, in my opinion. And I think Dr. Joseph Ladapo would have been absolutely huge on this. So let's see what Dr. Nesheiwat does. Can she truly disrupt and bring about change in an utterly corrupted field, the medical industrial complex, a field that needs radical shakeup? Or will it be that dreaded term, business as usual for Washington, D.C. and the policy of the United States, while millions, hundreds of millions of people keep getting sicker. Time will tell. I really do believe that now is a pivotal point, and I'm happy to do whatever I can to help. And on that note, it has been brought to my attention that some people have nominated me on RFK Jr.'s Make America Healthy Again website to help with formulating policy, and I would be honored to help our country in any way I can, in any capacity I can. And if you feel the same way, link in the description down below, feel free to nominate me. I am willing and ready to help in any way I can, even an advisory role, because I want this country to do better, and we can do better. Check out that link in the description below. Dr. Suneel Dhand, do hit the like button if you like this video and the subscribe button for more similar videos in the future. We will speak again very soon.